Actually, hello. I'm back, you back, we back. Just like a spine hole, you already know. It's me, your girl P, your favorite bitch, and your favorite witch. Welcome to this week's episode of Postscript, also known as PS The Talk Show. Let's jump into our first segment of the episode. We're going to start with Laughable at Best. Please tell me y'all seen that tweet of Orlando Brown. It's a video of him talking about Raven. And why the fuck the caption go talk about some, they was like, yeah, Raven used to be a baddie. Now she identifies as Sinbad. Because why would you say that? You know, Orlando Brown talking about some, yeah, now she with the wife. She thinks she a man and she be a whore. Young, you gotta see the fucking video. That nigga is nuts. But that video had me crying laughing the other day. That shit, most of the caption that says she identifies as Sinbad now. That has me crying. Now we're going to our next segment. Ooh, for Peace, favorite pieces. Guess who I'm going to see tonight? I'm going to see my girl Coco Jones. Shout out to my girl Coco. I always say this, but she really what am I trying to say? I guess representation really does matter. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because for one, Let It Shine is my shit. I love that movie. I discovered Trevor Jackson through that movie, and y'all know I love me some TJ Down. Love Mr. Jackson. Love you, boy. Tyler James Williams. I'm like, oh my God, this nigga from Everybody Hates Chris. That's so cute. Like, yeah, he in this movie. That's fun. Disney, whatever. But then also, I'm like, oh my God, the two girls that be singing with the dreads. Chloe and Halle, they in this movie too. Like, because I discovered them on YouTube. I'm like, oh my God. Like, I've never seen black girls with dreads on TV, specifically in a Disney movie. Apart from, whose name I'm forgetting right now, but Mr. Mosby's niece, but she has sister locks, and those don't count as quiet as it's kept. But then I'm like, okay, cool, this film is cute. Like, you know, it's Disney, it's movies. I can identify some of the little people that's in here. But then I'm like, the main girl is a chocolate dark-skinned girl. And then, like, the way that she dressed in that movie with, like, all the fun colors and the big tutus and all that, it was giving, like, that Hannah Montana Forever, like, kind of vibe. But it was just, to see a dark-skinned black girl star in a Disney film and she was singing down, that made me feel something. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I never felt that before with a Disney movie, for real. So shout out to my girl Coco. Can't wait to see you tonight because you're about to sing the house down. But yeah, I got the little tickets through this thing we got at work. And y'all know I don't be trying to really like sit down for shows. But it was a House of Blues and I hate standing up there. So I'm going to see it. So we'll see what it's giving. But I can't wait to hear her nonetheless. So yeah, let's move on. And then I'm mobile as for now. You know what I'm saying? I got me a little rental because my son Blanco has checked out. He's left the chat. So as of now, I have a rental and I do have a surprise for y'all next week. All right, our next topic today is what pissed me off. Sly Stone done passed away on the glory. Ain't nobody told me nothing. Ain't nobody told me Nathaniel. Like, oh my God, y'all, I love Sly. He was so fine back in the day. Like, and if you know me personally, you know I always say we got to get back to how men looked in the 70s. I'm obsessed with the 70s. That's my favorite era of black people. Like, niggas was fly, had chains, afros, just amazing, immaculate skin. Rest in peace to Sly. Shout out to the Family Stone. As quiet as it's kept, we need Trinidad James on that biopic immediately. Because why Trinidad James looks just like Sly Stone? And why I don't be hearing nobody else talking about that? He looks just like that man. Okay, next topic. Questions that need answers. Just wake it up. Where do I buy bulletproof vests? That's the question that I need to answer to because I'm going to the NBA YoungBoy show. Both of them. Where do I buy bulletproof vests at? Because I'm going. I don't care. I need to see him. I need to. Not even on no like lusty kind of like, oh, young boy look good kind of thing. Not even that, because we're both psychotic and I love murder, shoot 'em up, killing music. Yeah. I need to see that. I seen Young Boy once and it was in Baltimore, so you already know that was a whole experience in itself. And this was years ago. I feel like he was still a teenager, I think, when I seen him in Baltimore. That might have been in like 2017, 18, something like that. But then also in my mind, I'm thinking like, damn, Young Boy going on tour. Like, what does it look like? Do this nigga rehearse? Or do every night he just get up there and start rapping. I don't know. It's just certain people you be like, nigga, I know you don't. You just look like you be late as shit in the rehearsals. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Whatever. But, and then he gonna be here twice. So I'm like, I definitely gotta go to the first show. Cause something in me is telling me that the nigga is somehow gonna end up going back to jail and I make it to the second show. So I'm going to both. That's what I'm planning, but definitely going to the first one. So the question I need y'all to answer is, will I buy a bulletproof vest? Put the link below. Thank you. A conscious cut. First thing I want to say is, of course, I'm gonna keep saying it. Happy Pride, cause it's Pride Month, bitch. Shout out to all the chosen family. Shout out to all, you know, the chosen support systems, the built communities, all that good jazz. And if you're a person who's, you know, close with your biological family, shout out to you too. But for conscious content, the thing I want to talk about is really something I've been really like understanding more realistically, I guess. It's just like the privilege of time. Like when I think about my life, and I recently have come to terms with the fact that I'm going to have kids, but I'm not going to do it anytime soon. Like I don't want to have kids until I'm 40. But then I'm like, I mean, granted, even if I had kids now, yes, my grandmother would know my kids, and yes, my father would know my kids, but it wouldn't be like, you know, how it was with me growing up with my grandmother. Like, do that make sense? Like, all my cousins and all my grandmother other grandkids already got kids, right? So, damn, I'm the only one that don't have grandkids. Not me and my cousin. Yeah, we both don't have kids. Well, and her little brother, but he's a kid too, so whatever. I include him in the kids. All of them have kids. So my grandmother, and they all live very close. They all live in the same state. You know what I'm saying? I'm really the only person that moved. So my grandmother knows her great-grandkids, and her great-grandkids, like, know her. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, my kids is not going to have that. That's wild as shit to me. And then even, like, with my father, like, yes, my father will still be alive when I have kids. But by the time they get up and start doing stuff and, like, you know what I'm saying, you're going to be unchecked out. So that's another thing that I've been like more thinking about, just watching my father with his grandkids and stuff, like his 2 granddaughters and stuff. I'm like, I'm really appreciative that y'all get to have that experience. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm just like, girl, time is like, you got to be realistic. So, yeah, that's really what I wanted to talk about. Happy Cancer season. Happy summer solstice. We're going to get into that a little bit later. Everything always ties together, like y'all know. And that's why we go ahead and get into hashtag I cannot make this shit up, our last and final segment of the show. So first thing, you know, like I said, happy Pride, happy Cancer season, happy summer solstice, everybody. Summer solstice is the longest day of the year of daylight, you know what I'm saying? It's when the sun is at its highest peaks, the first day of summer, the kickoff, the blossom, the bloom, right? And before we even really get into it for real, another thing I want to touch on before we get super deep into this segment, I was telling y'all, you know, I'm currently in my Saturn return because Saturn is in the sign of Aries right now, and I have an Aries Saturn. So that Saturn return might tell you a joke. That bitch ain't never gonna tell you a lie. It reminds me of like my dad. So with that Saturn return, it really came immediately. It was like, I'm gonna take the first thing that means the most to you as of now, which is your car. And if you know me personally, my car has always meant the most to me for a very long time, because that was my first feeling of adulthood. Like, that was the first thing, like, when I started driving in 2016, I think is when I got a car, or 2017? No, yeah, 2016 is when I got a car. I owned my car. So that made me feel like somebody, like I had something. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, bitch, I own a car. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I ain't grew up with no car. I never had no car. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm a subway metro child. Walking. Get on the bus. Get on the train. So I'm real happy that, you know, I was able to start my younger life with owning my car. And then, you know, I got my second car during COVID. That's been good to me until it hasn't. And so I've had that car now for what, 5 years? I've lived here for 4. I had it for a year before I moved here. So yeah. I had my other car for about 5 years. So I'm just like, yeah, you know, that's not every time I tell you a joke, but it never tell you a lie. Because immediately it was like, all right, yo, car's gone. Now what you gonna do? Just being here, depressed, crying? Figure it out. Because it's going to force you into growth and it's going to force you into expansion. And that is uncomfortable most times. First thing I want to talk about is what we talked about over the last couple episodes, Jupiter and Cancer, right? I'm going to drill this into y'all head. Jupiter is in Cancer. Jupiter is one of the planets that they call the benefic. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's really, it's T, it's her. It's really one of them ones. So when I think about that, the thing that I think about is, y'all remember the mirror from Beauty and the Beast? When Belle was like, show me this, show me that. So like, that's how I think about Jupiter. It can show you past, present, future, depending on your choice. It's going to decide whether that comes to fruition or not. You know what I'm saying? Very similar, like I was talking about Raven earlier. Like, she had a vision, right? But she never really would know what steps was going to get made to get to that point. And then sometimes she'd be in the middle of something, doing something, then she's like, oh, this is the vision. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, do that make sense? That's just my little analogy that I just want to talk about. So sometimes with seeing the way that things are going to pan out, you understand that either like a relief is coming or a change is coming. So like, to me, that just gives Alexa, play Hold On, Help Is On The Way by the Georgia Mass Choir featuring Whitney Houston. Hold on, help is on the way. And so with Jupiter being in Cancer, it's so important because it takes 1 year for Jupiter to change signs again. So that really gives you a little, certain amount of time to lock in. Remember I was telling y'all astrology is either short spurts, long spurts. This one's a little bit of a longer spurt. It's 12 months, a year. So with that, I'm thinking about, like I'm seeing, you know what a sifter is? Like, well, when you sift flour with, like, you know what I'm saying? It sorts it, it makes it, it refines it. And sometimes the shit that be left on top, you can get rid of that. But the other stuff that was able to get through, that was purpose. You needed that. That was for something. So, and then, you know what I'm saying? With that year, break it down into smaller spurts. So from now to September, what's that? 3 months? June, July, August, yeah. From now to September, that's the first little chunk of time I want you to think about. So if you can pay attention to the message and the alignment that you need to identify with, from now to August, September, you'll take your next final form to go into the end of the year elevated, right? And then another thing I want to speak on too is Mars is in Virgo. So with the planet Mars being in the sign of Virgo, Virgo is the taskmaster. Virgo is the Palm Pilot. Virgo is the checklist. Virgo is the container store. Virgo is the organization. Virgo is the color coded. Virgo is the OCD. Virgo is the perfectionist. Virgo is me. I got a Virgo moon. So like, I'm real good with organizing stuff. It just comes to me naturally because of that. You know what I'm saying? And then like structure is just something that I can implement very easily. So Virgo is the sign of ritual, the sign of routine. And y'all know that I preach down about a routine because you have to commit to something or everything will fuck you up. And then another thing I want to say is happy Cancer season. We talked about this last week. You know, I'm ushering in that soft, safe space. So if you can do what I said between now and August, September, you'll take that final form. Keep in mind, Mars is in Virgo. Have a little bit more organization, have a little bit more commitment, have a little bit more routine. By the time you do all of that over the next 3 months, September, you'll be able to have a different expression of life. So I keep saying that happy Cancer season, happy summer solstice. It's officially the start of summer, as people would say. Happy summer ween. So with that happening on Friday, the 20th, this isn't the weekend for you to couch ride and just be chilling. Celebrate. Go and, what's that little TikTok challenge we saying? With the men frolicking. Like, go be in the sun. Go outside. Celebrate. Have a good time. Enjoy. I talked about, you know what I'm saying, Mars being in Virgo. And that's important because Mars was in Leo before. So when I spoke about Mars and Leo, that gave you the spark. That gave you the idea, the excitement. And now with Virgo being that taskmaster, Mars and Virgo is going to give you the execution. Yeah. But be aware of like perfection paralysis, of like just needing every single thing to be immediately perfect before you can start, because I have a hard time with that too. But do pay attention to details, but you don't have to be perfect. Just start the thing, do the thing. Because with Mars being a Virgo, execution is in abundance to you if you tap into it between now and September. I mean, now and August. So then in September, you'll really be prepared. Like for me, I have to think about things like that and in seasons and stuff because I have really bad seasonal depression. And granted, we don't get like winter here for real, but when it starts getting dark at 5 o'clock, that fucks with me mentally and makes me want to jump off a bridge. So because of that, I plan my life a certain way so that I can be exposed to more daylight once I get off of work. Stuff like that is why I think astrology is so important. Another thing I want to talk about with Mars being in Virgo, Mars is a sign that has, if you go back to the last episodes, I've talked about Mars being in Cancer. I've talked about Mars being in Leo. And it's just been going back and forth between those two signs, right? Just repeating. But now it's finally in a whole new sign. New shit, new shit, new shit, new shit. Every time I say that on the channel, I try to remember what Go-Go song is, and I never can remember. And then when I'm editing, I'll be like, that's the song. I can't never think of it, but put it in the comments if you know what Go-Go song that is, please. Thank you. I have a button that says, ask me about my latest hyperfixation. That's literally my life. Like Mars and Virgo is the hyperfixation. So be aware of that, like I said, of that perfection paralysis. But also be aware that execution is in abundance here. Conquer, divide, pay attention to detail, get it done. And then another more technical transit I do want to talk about is Jupiter square Neptune. I told you it's like the Spider-Man dream. Jupiter is the irresponsible choice, and Neptune is the enabler of that irresponsible choice. So just be aware of your escapism habits, your ungrounded habits. Keep your boundaries intact. Because while Jupiter, yes, it is in Cancer, and also Saturn is in Aries, the baseline of anything, if you don't take nothing from this, if you're going to be anything, be full fucking real. If it's too good to be true, it is. Also, happy Juneteenth to all the niggas. That's Friday as well. Oh, another thing I forgot to talk about too, for conscious cunt. I'm going to just throw this in the end. Look up the Timbuktu village in South Jersey. That was like one of the first earliest places that emancipation happened for Black people, even before the official, you know what I'm saying, emancipation. Refine and reconnect, chosen family or not, chosen community or not, deepen connections, and notice the way that people show up for you. Another thing that's happening next week is we're gonna have a Jupiter and Sun Kazemi. Also gonna be a new moon in Cancer, but we'll talk about all that stuff next week. And also the other thing, if you don't take nothing away from this, understand that we're redefining safety, security, soft, safe spaces. And also think about what worked, what changed, what was different, what was new. June 2013 to 2014. Think about that era of your life. And if you're my peer, I know what was happening in that era of our life. We were being ushered into our next life because we were leaving high school. And that literally changed the rest of the trajectory of my life. So you're due for another one of those. That was the last time Jupiter's in Cancer. That's all I have for you today. Thank you for watching as always. I really love y'all. I appreciate everybody that watched. Hope y'all enjoyed the footage of me and my wife. Watch that again, share that again, send that to your friend, all that good shit. Thank you for coming. You know how we end the show. Thank you for coming, and you know what I'm saying, welcome if you've been here before, and welcome back if this is your first time. You know how we end the show. Bitches be mad because they be hating. Bitches be hating because they be mad. Bye, y'all.